Okay, all right, so recording. It is November 30th, 2023. It is 10:35 a.m. It is the professional trader here, and I am also here with my brother Kailash. Sir, how you doing this morning?
Doing good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Staying
So,
patient.
yep. We haven't spoke in about a week, man. So,
Oh, yeah.
what has changed for you, if anything has changed for you in the last week in these markets?
Hmm. So I'll be honest, like last week I was holding like a Dogecoin position. It would have worked out. I got
Hmm
out for like a small profit, but like
hmm
being honest with myself, I was hoping it would go up. So I could tell there was some red flags, so I got out of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But yeah, I
yeah.
took a US 100 position. I'm just slowly getting the account up, so that's
Okay,
been going
okay.
good.
How's your FTMO account looking?
So currently I'm at 6.75%.
Nice,
So
nice,
I'm
nice.
almost there. I'm taking
Um,
those small, I'm kind of walking it in, taking like the
yeah,
small, like half a
yeah.
percent gains and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, slow and steady.
Man, it'll benefit us in the long run for sure. Not like going up 5% one day, going down 8% the next, and then
Yeah.
that steady ladder climbing for sure. I'm
It's
gonna.
really amazing. One thing I'll just really quickly say, like, it's
Mhm.
really amazing how much like it adds up. Like
Yeah,
even $30, $30, $30,
yeah.
10 trades, it makes a big difference. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's good.
and you're right there. Man,
Mm.
I'm on Forex Factory right now just because
Mm.
I wasn't really aware of what just came out this morning, but I'm looking at them now. What do you think about the news that came out this morning, the unemployment claims and the core PCE index?
Yeah, so I'm looking at the chart too. It does seem it did move. Yeah, around 8:30, the dollar started picking up.
Mhm.
And I kind of like I didn't pay attention to, like when it initially happened. Maybe I'm looking
Yeah.
at the wrong date. I didn't see much of a move like initially,
hmm
but I do think I'll just say in general, like I think the dollar was like too much to the short side. I
Okay.
think there was just too much short that, in my opinion, like no matter
Yeah.
what would have happened, I think the market would have had some bounce. Like I was
Yeah.
expecting like some
Yeah.
bounce. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause like if just from what I've been hearing from like a fundamental standpoint, like the end goal is to like cut down rate hikes and blah blah blah, but
Yeah.
like how long it'll take to get there, it is a good question. But I'm looking at the numbers that came out today, like like right really just where they need to be. So like in my opinion, like kind of a neutral like a neutral thing. And I feel like anything like neutral right now, just because of how bearish it's
Uh,
been, it's gonna cause it, to like literally go the other way. But I'm looking at the DXY right now, and it's super interesting, man. Just where the DXY is in, and just just want to point out what you mentioned the other day. Taking this fib tool because from that buyer perspective, if we're looking to for where we could buy it, and we draw from that swing low to that swing high, just like how you mentioned to me the other day, it is right at that 618 level. So it's like, you know, it was buying for the last several weeks, for the last couple of weeks, those impulse moves have kind of been getting retraced. So, it's real interesting. Is it time for the dollar to continue to buy, or, are we going to see, because right now it's bouncing off of that 618 level and kind of rejecting off of that 50. So, is it going to break that 50 and continue, or is it gonna, are the Bears going to step in from this level, and are we going to see this continue to decline? But I feel
and
like,
the weekly chart's starting to get a bit of a wick when you look at it. So it's,
oh
like
wow,
maybe just
wow,
small bounce, maybe, who knows?
yeah, that's to me that's pretty important though on the weekly. For price to come all the way over here and reject about 95% of it. That's pretty telling. So 1 day and 8 hours on the markets. It's interesting though because the DXY is buying up right now, but it might be a trap in my opinion because I feel like a lot of these pairs still look like they might potentially go down one more time because I'm looking at USD CAD. Like right now, right now, as a seller, I feel like this wouldn't be a bad place to get into. And Same thing kind of happening on USD JPY. You know, we had it came up all the way over here. Wicked about 90% of it. It's still kind of green right now, but you know,
Wow.
from a seller perspective, you know, looking like it may like continue to the downside, but I wouldn't as much as like I kind of do like it, and you know, I would try USD CAD again, you know, just being aware of that DXY. I feel like, you know, it probably just be better to wait, you know, on more clarity.
Yeah.
But
Because there's
um
lots of room to like set. I'm trying to think of the pairs even. Like technically they are setting like daily lower highs, daily
hmm
higher lows.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. You know what I mean? Like I'm just thinking because like Powell's talking tomorrow. I don't think it's like a really
hmm
important event,
hmm hmm
but yeah, I don't even know actually.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Like it's like uncertainty. Yeah, the
Yeah,
point where we're at
yeah,
right now.
yeah,
But the
literally,
trend is still what you just said, that is the trend. Like I
yeah.
can't even doubt it. Can't even deny
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, if I took another sell on USD CAD, because I was in a sell right here because I think I took my fib tool from here. Actually, I don't remember where I took it from, but it might have been from like from here to down here. And it's like that 50% was rejecting. So I think I had my
Yeah.
stop loss just like somewhere right above here, you know, barely got stopped out, came all the way back down. But you know, like I said, I think taking another trade right now, I don't think it is the worst idea, but I feel like not being aware, like, you know, of that 61.8 weekly DXY, I feel like a lot this is like a trap right now. That's kind of just how I feel. I feel like it's a trap because, like, you know, yes, it looks super bearish right now, but there's still 1 hour and 17 minutes left on the 4 hour, and there is still 5 hours left on the daily. So a lot of things can happen within 1 hour. This 1 hour of 4 hour this sorry, can't speak. Between this 4 hour candle closure and this daily candle closure, a lot of things can
Yeah.
happen. So it's a little premature in my opinion to just hit the sell button again for sure. And kind of just like you don't want to lose my money. So kind of should just let the markets tell me what it wants to do. But
And
man,
that daily candle, right? It's very like indecisive. Like it has the
yeah.
upper wick, the lower wick, it's right in the
Yeah.
middle. I feel like it's like even the market is saying we we don't know. Like
You
the
don't
market
know.
is trying
Mhm.
to pick a direction. We'll
Yeah,
see.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, but that's pretty much all I'm looking at. You know, I got stopped out of my gold.
Oh
Gold
no.
is another one that's pretty interesting because like, you know, we have you know, we have all this resistance here. You know, we saw price fall over here, saw price come up here and fall. And then, you know, we have that big level that's even over here. So it's like, you know, buying this right now to me is not the smartest thing to do. But selling it right now is also to me like a slight premature move. So it's just like
Yeah.
it's a little bit up in the air with gold as well. But once that direction gets going on the DXY, we should see this do some kind of move again. But you know, I'm happy that I caught that move, but on gold, you know, I'm a little uncertain as well. But
That was really good. Yeah.
yeah. But you
Um,
know, another thing like, you know, with AU so right, I'm looking at AUD USD. You know, we had this like support down here, kind of broke above it. And you know, it looks like we're potentially retesting it. So, you know, it's like from a price action standpoint, you know, this still looks like it may want to continue bullish, but there's other than this wick right here, there's really no sign that this is gonna happen. So like, you know, that idea to me is still a little premature as well too. GJ, don't really even like it. You know, GU kind of like the same thing. You know, we broke higher. You know, we're kind of back in that range. But you know, from a buyer perspective, other than it being in that range, really nothing really telling me that, you know, I should place the buy yet, other than it just being in that range. So, you know, I'm a little hesitant. Euro USD dipped a little bit harder, but you know, kind of like with gold, you know, it's bullish, but like, you know, there's all that resistance right here. So it's like me buying it up here is not the smartest thing in my opinion. So yeah, to me, not that many setups, man. But are you able to share your screen, man? Maybe take us to your
Yeah.
world, man. I know you were in that Tesla trade, right?
Oh yeah. I definitely got out of it too early. Um,
Oh wow, did it ended up
yeah, like
continuing.
it had another bump up. Even the next day, it had a bit of a gap up too.
Mm.
But I can you see my screen? I think probably
Yes,
can.
yes, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I even you know it's funny, like I have my stop loss. I took off the trade before the stop loss even like would have hit.
Hmm.
But
Would your
what
stop
I
loss
like
have got
doing,
hit if you didn't
it wouldn't
close
have,
out?
no.
Oh,
But you know what?
oh,
Like today it would have. So that's I
okay,
don't mind.
okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. My thing sometimes takes a little bit of time to load. Maybe I'll do it. Yeah, it'd be nice if I had my other screen. But I use like a session to session
Hmm.
thing. So here's
Yeah,
Tesla.
okay,
Basically here is where I entered. So I entered the trade. It was on Tuesday, the opening on Tuesday.
yeah,
I was basically watching the high and low of the previous day
hmm,
of the value area where most of the volume was traded. So the high and the low.
yeah,
I did kind of enter a little bit early. It was at the open. So it was right here. So I did enter, I'll switch the arrow. Like I entered pretty much right here
hmm,
using this purple line as like a stop, not a stop, but like I entered small size position and I added more down here. And essentially I was using this blue line as like a stop loss. If we
yeah,
close below it, if we hold below it, then I'd exit the trade.
yeah.
And then once it started to come up, I was just using these higher lows as a guide. Um, let's see. I also watch Tesla divided by QQQ, which is like the tech ETF,
Hmm.
as a guide. Oops, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, I don't want to take too much time, but times 1,000. So I essentially use this as like a guide of how strong Tesla is compared to the rest of the market. And I
Hmm.
was watching that daily tightening range. It kind of started to break up. And once I saw it get above the previous day's high, I kind of knew to just stay in the trade.
Yeah,
So as long as it was above that level, I kind of stayed in there.
yeah,
And I put my stop loss at the near the end of the day. I put my stop loss right under here,
hmm,
and I closed out of the trade right there. So it did end up moving higher the day after, but
hmm,
today it would have gotten stopped out right
yeah,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it.
Uh,
I know I could. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty nice though. Do you base that like Tesla trade along with like what the DXY is still doing? That was that bearish DXY pushing Tesla up?
So I didn't look at the DXY, but what I do look at is
Mhm.
all the tech names. Let me see if I can get it really quick. I look at this chart right here. So I look at all the tech names all together, and
Mhm.
I just see which one is stronger, which one is weaker, like
Mhm.
relative to each other.
Yeah.
So on that day, I saw Tesla right here. The whole market, it's hard to line up because I don't have the crosshairs showing, but
Mhm.
pretty much most of the market wasn't going up, and Tesla was the only one going up. So I saw
Okay.
that kind of
Yeah.
stand out.
I'm kind of seeing that are those dates all lined? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I wish the on this one the crosshair doesn't like you can't really see it on the other charts,
Mhm.
but Tesla also has an event today, so it's kind of like a buy the rumor, sell the news.
Mhm.
But that was essentially it.
Oh,
Yeah, I
damn
should
it.
show you like the dollar, my dollar setup. I think it does make sense to have a bounce here because this sideways range,
Yeah.
like this whole rectangle of price,
Mhm.
all of the volume that occurred here were essentially we tapped into that and we bounced right off of it.
Yeah.
So it does make sense, I think, to have a bounce. Like
Yeah. So,
likewise, you could see a rejection here because it's testing this whole
yeah.
kind of range of
Yeah. So,
supply.
literally, like still in that range. We broke out of the range, and now we're retesting the range. So
Mm.
it's like I feel like the like from a trend standpoint, you know, the thing to do, in my opinion at least, would be to expect it to continue to the downside. But like you said, you know, it's bouncing off of that 61.8 level. And then you said Powell also speaks tomorrow as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
so
like what you said. What you said was like, you don't like it doesn't look like it's not a great buy or it's not a great sell. And like I
mhm,
think so many people they don't realize like there's a good trade like a good trade is like doing nothing is a trade in itself.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm I'm okay not doing anything just because, you know, getting close, you know, there's just no point in there's just no point in wasting capital on something co- that's just not like telling, you know. The markets
Yeah.
tell you what it wants to do, so it's just, I'll
There
be
was an
okay.
interesting setup yesterday I could talk about really quickly.
Hmm.
Like on the NASDAQ yesterday, we opened up, like the price opened here. We kind of had a little bit of a pop up. There was a bunch of volume up here, and then it dropped. And immediately, once you drop below the open
Hmm.
and you don't recover above the open,
Yeah,
you're kind of like, you shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't be a buyer until price is able to get back above the open. So
yeah,
essentially, you can see the volume up here. And on the daily chart, you can see that it creates a wick.
yeah,
So that wick up here kind of tells me like be cautious of NASDAQ because it's pretty much said it's shaping up for a weekly pullback.
yeah.
And if we break the low of last week, that begins the weekly pullback. So it looks like that could be setting up next week. There could be a dip to buy, but it's
And
all up to them.
those wicks on the daily, are showing that like not that it's overextended or anything, but it is slightly, from those impulse candles, those last couple of weeks to it just kind of scrunching up, and being so tight, it's showing that it is most definitely potentially slowing down. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
There was a
most
good open
definitely right.
trade at the open this morning.
Hmm.
The price opened, we had a little pop up above the open, and then we fell back below. So
Yeah,
it's very similar to yesterday,
yeah.
where we popped above the open, we fell back below.
Hmm.
I had one trade on one of my accounts right here. I can show. It was at like 9:30. I just sold two micro positions for the Nasdaq, and then I covered it really quickly. So I didn't get like the full profit, but I kind of covered it here and then covered it. The first chop was like right there.
Okay,
But that
okay.
was the only trade I took this morning.
Yeah, it's nice. That's nice. Are you looking at any Forex pairs at the moment, or just
I can
strictly?
see the now. Well, yeah, I marked up one of the yen
Hmm.
recently. Let me see. I still think the yen is bearish, but I'm like cautious. I think there's good opportunity to sell it
Hmm.
because this bounce. I'm very cautious though because this is like
Hmm.
the first time it's showing strength.
Yeah,
But it's funny, even on the videos that we've done like previously, these are the exact same levels,
yeah,
and you can see like the yen initially rejected off of it, which if I think the strongest sellers shouldn't allow price to come back. So that's why I'm cautious. Like this shouldn't be happening. But to kind of like show the other side too, like sellers are still defending it because price is not accepting above. And at the end of the day, like all it is, it's just this structure right here.
yeah,
So it's like how much time has price spent above this structure ever since it broke below? We haven't had any candle closes above. So
yeah,
as long as price is below that, I think there's some sell opportunities you can take on like the hourly, some like maybe hourly bounce, but
yeah,
probably not even gonna take it. I
yeah.
want to see it like break down
Yeah,
and
that
see if it
impulse on that 1 hour, it's kind of impulsing back to the upside. So
yeah,
I feel like a higher high from that candle, I would proceed with like a little bit of caution, but from a seller perspective, it broke lower and now it's kind of retesting that range. So like, would want to see it drop down again for sure, but
yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
from a buyer perspective too, because you can always play both sides. Like I
Hmm.
could, even though my bias, like I always have a bias, that's my I think weakness maybe.
Hmm.
But from a buyer perspective, if buyers are going to flip this, because before it was resistance, if they're going to flip it into support, you're going to want to see buyers like hold that low and work higher.
Yeah,
So essentially, what you could do with this setup, what I could do, is like get a big enough bounce above and try to like pretty much take dip buys with a stop underneath
yeah.
and target anything
Hmm.
higher. So we'll see if that shapes up.
Yeah,
Good to keep it though.
I would agree. Most definitely. I'm gonna go back to GBP JPY real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
Just to look at how it's doing. So I'm looking at it on the 4 hour. So I still like GJ from a bullish perspective too. The only thing that has me just slightly cautious is kind of how, this high right here was higher than this high, but to me, it wasn't the most convincing higher high. And then,
Yeah.
after seeing that, it's like immediately just like kind of fell back, into this range. But um, like from a technical analysis standpoint, though, not really bearish though, right? And it's kind of like just in this little range that it's bouncing off right now. So if that yen weakness does come into play, I feel like possibly GJ could catch some type of bounce, but on the 4 hour from a price action perspective, I wouldn't buy this right now, so
Yeah.
potentially I do like the buys, but I wouldn't be looking to buy it, just right at this moment for GJ.
Yeah. It's right in the
Looking at
middle. It's the
Yeah,
most
right in the
confusing.
middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with CAD JPY. It was pushing nicely up, but like, now this candle is half of it has kind of retraced back. And Euro JPY actually looks like it put in
That looks good.
not the most convincing lower low. So, I really wouldn't
Mm.
call this a lower low, and it's kind of bouncing off of this level right here. So, I feel like there's still a lot of potential, for these pairs to continue to the upside. But yeah, would just want to see, have the same level marked up as you. Would just want to see like, this level fails. And then, those Forex pairs could potentially continue to go up. But yeah, that's everything for me, man. I'm probably gonna even stay off the 4 hour. Probably just gonna be watching the daily chart from
Mm.
like here till tomorrow, just so like the picture is more clear, because I feel like even the 4 hour right now can be even a little confusing just because there's a lot of wicks one way then wicks the other way, but that daily to me still looks just very clear, but also looks kind of bullish right now, right, at least right now on the daily. So yeah, uh you said tomorrow Powell speaks. Does anything else
Yeah, it's
happen
like 11.
tomorrow?
I think you're an hour behind me, right? Maybe
Yeah,
or
yeah. Yeah. So for
okay.
me, so he speaks at, it says 11 New York time, so that'd be
Oh,
10
okay,
a.m.
too.
10 a.m. for me and like 1 p.m. So I guess he's speaking two different times tomorrow.
Mm.
Yeah, and then there's also ISM manufacturing news. I'm not sure how that affect the markets, but man, yeah, man, maybe if you have some time, we could probably get on again tomorrow, man,
Mm.
see how these markets close out for the week.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm free tomorrow.
Okay,
The
okay.
GBP JPY thing, I think one thing I'll just say is like
Yeah,
because it does, I agree, like it looks uncertain. Like it made that higher high and then it fell back below. And it's
yeah,
like I want the buyers to prove it to me. It's like
yeah,
to put my money into it,
yeah,
you buyers, you gotta prove it and then
yeah.
I'll do it. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
we'll see, we'll
I
see.
I agree 1,000,000%. I don't think we ever
Yeah.
disagree, man. So
Yeah, right.
that's a good thing. But yes,
Yeah,
sir, man. I'll most definitely be if I see anything, I'll be updating you what I see most definitely, like how I always
cool,
do.
cool.
But yes, sir, I appreciate you, man, for taking the time out to speak
Awesome.
with
Yeah,
me, man.
same
Yes,
here.
sir, yes, sir. So, man, I will see you tomorrow, my guy.
For sure, for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right, peace.